Hello, my dear friends. Today we are going to start with understanding about different types of companies for class 12, which we have seen in our yesterday's YouTube talks. So let's start. For understanding different types of company, let's understand what is a company. As in our daily life, we have listened about various type of companies, but there are some definitions which are given about company by various authors. Like there is a professor called Professor Henning. According to him, company is an artificial person created by law having a separate legal entity with a perpetual succession and common seal. So, what is a company? Company is an artificial person created by law having separate legal entity and perpetual succession and what? A common seal. So this is the definition which is given by Professor Hene about company. Now, let's understand what are the different kinds of companies. In class 12, the company is divided on two bases. First, on the basis of size, on basis of size, and second on the basis of liability. As we have already seen that on the basis of type, there are three kinds of companies. First is one person company. Second is private company. And last one is public company. And on the basis of liabilities, there are two kinds of companies. First is company, limited companies. And second is unlimited companies. Okay, so limited company is also having two types. First is limited by shares and second is limited by guarantee. So these are the kinds of company which we study in our class 12. Let's understand these kinds of companies one by one. So first type of company which we are going to understand here is one person company. According to section 2 sub 62 of Companies Act, two 2013, a one person company is a company having one person as its member. Means a one person company is only having one person as its member. It is just like a sole proprietorship business where there is only one person who is the sole owner of the business. Here in one person company also there is one person which is the member of the company, or we can say which is the owner of the company. How one person company is formed? One person company is formed by registering under Companies Act as a private company. So one person company is a part of private company. So all the rules and regulations of a private company is followed in one person company except for the number of members. Okay. Now next is private companies. As per section 2 sub 68 of Companies Act, 2013, a private company is a company which has minimum 2 members and maximum 200 members. This number of members is given by the article of the company. Means information about this number of members is given in the article of association of the company. This kind of company is having restriction in the transfer of shares, or we can say ownership. Means there is a restriction on transfer of shares in case of a private company, but if you follow the rules and regulations which is given in the Companies Act, then you can be able to transfer your shares or transfer your ownership to another person. Another thing about this company is this private company cannot invite general public for subscription of its shares, which means the subscription of shares or inviting public for subscription of shares is strictly prohibited in case of private companies. Another thing which we should know about a private company is when two or more members, like one person is Ramesh, another person is Suresh, they are having or they are holding shares of rupees 50,000 of a private company jointly, means their name is written in the ownership certificate or share certificate of the private limited company jointly, then they will not be considered as a different member, they will be considered as a single member. So when two or more persons are having shares of a private company jointly, means they jointly purchase or they jointly apply for the ownership or shares of the company, then they will not be considered as a separate member, they will be considered as a single member for that private company, and the maximum number of members will be 200. But in this number of members 200, we should always consider that its past and present employees are not considered as the members of the company, because as per Companies Act 2013, the employees which get shares from the company as their performance bonus or a part of their serving or loyalty to the company, will not make them members of the company. They are just holding the shares of the company and they will not be considered while calculating the 200 members of the company. Okay. The last feature which we should know about a private company is the name of this private company should end with word private limited. So in every private company, the name of that company ends with the word private limited, which shows that it is a private company and its liability is limited. Now, next type of company is on the basis of size is public company. According to section 2, sub 71 of Companies Act 2013, a public company is a company which is not a private company. But to form a public company, there should be some rules which to be followed according to Companies Act. The first rule is minimum paid up share capital. As may be prescribed. A private company. As we know, there is a concept called holding and subsidiary companies. So here it wants to say that a company which is a public company cannot be the subsidiary of a private company. Means company holding that company will not be a private company. The third is the name of company should end with word limited. Which means at the end of the name of every public company, there should be a word called limited, which shows the limited liability feature of the public company. Now let's move on to the next topic, that is types of companies on the basis of liabilities. As I have told you earlier that on the basis of liabilities, there are two kinds of companies. First, limited liability companies, and second, unlimited liability companies. So let's understand first limited liability companies. The limited liability companies are two types. First is limited by shares and second is limited by guarantee. So these are the two kinds of companies under limited liability company. So let's understand the first type, that is companies limited by shares. For this, let's take one example. If there is a person called Mohan who wants to purchase 1,000 shares of Tata Limited, and suppose price of shares of Tata is rupees 2,000 each. Means one share is of rupees 2,000. So how much amount we have to pay is 1,000 shares into rupees 2,000. That is rupees 20 lakh. But this Sohan has paid only rupees 1500 per share till now. Means till now he has paid only 1500 per share on 1000 shares which he has purchased. So what amount he has paid? He has paid rupees 15 lakh to the company. So the unpaid amount on these 1000 shares by this person Mohan is rupees 5 lakh. When the company needs money for his, or we can say, when the company needs more amount for his business, then the company can call his shareholders for the amount. So when company will ask amount, or we can say company will ask for the unpaid amount from its shareholder, from Mohan, the company can call only up to rupees 5 lakh because he has only not paid, or we can say his unpaid amount is only rupees 5 lakh, which means the liability of Mohan, towards this Tata company is limited only up to this amount, rupees 5 lakh. So, as we can understand by this example that in case of companies limited by shares, the liability of the members of the company is limited up to the unpaid amount on the shares subscribed by them. Like here, he has subscribed 1000 shares and unpaid amount is rupees 5 lakh. So the liability of Mohan, which is a member and shareholder of the company, is limited up to the rupees 5 lakh only. Company cannot ask him to pay more than 5 lakh as it is a company limited by shares. So we can write the meaning of this companies limited by shares that in companies limited by shares, the liabilities of a member is limited only up to the amount unpaid on shares subscribed by that member. One thing which we also have to remember about companies limited by shares is the unpaid amount. This unpaid amount can only be called, this unpaid amount can be called anytime during lifespan of that company. Which means this unpaid amount can be called any time during the lifespan of the company. Whenever company will need that amount, it can ask its member to pay that unpaid amount. There is no fixed time in this. So this is the companies limited by shares. The second type in limited liability company is companies limited by guarantee. What is companies limited by guarantee? As the name suggests that in such kind of company there is a guarantee given by the members of that company. So let's understand this limited by guarantee or this guarantee word with an example. Suppose Mohan brothers Shohan wants to become member in a public company, or we can say member in a company. But Sohan doesn't want to purchase share of that company because he is not having or he is not interested in becoming member through purchasing shares. So he suggested the company that at the time of winding up of this company, he will guarantee that company that he will pay rupees 1 crore to the company. So company accepted his offer and made him a member in the company. So in the given case, this kind of guarantee given by the member is possible under a company called company limited by guarantee, where the liability of the member is limited up to the amount guaranteed by that member. At the time of winding up, the company cannot ask him to pay more than 1 crore because its liability is limited up to this guaranteed amount. So we can write the meaning of this company limited by guarantee that in case of companies limited by guarantee, the liability of members is limited up to the amount guaranteed by them to pay towards company during its winding up. So by this example and from this meaning, we can understand that this guaranteed amount, will be asked by company only at its winding up. Means whenever the process of winding up will start and the company will need that amount, the company will ask that member to pay its guaranteed amount. During the lifespan or lifetime of the company will never ask for this guaranteed amount like it was asked in the companies limited by shares. So these are the types of companies under limited liability companies. Now, on the basis of liability, the second type of company is unlimited liability company. So, the meaning of unlimited liability company is that where the liabilities of the member, liabilities of what members is unlimited. Means there is no limitation in the liabilities, and whenever company will wind up, if company is not able to pay their debt, they will ask its member to pay the debt, and for paying the debt, the personal property of members will also be used. Means if the member is not having that much amount that he is able to pay the debts of the company, then his personal property will be sold off to arrange money for paying the debts of the company during its winding up. So this is the last and final type of company which we study in our class 12, that is unlimited liability company. So let's revise quickly. On the basis of size, there are three types of companies. First, one person company, second is private company, third is public company. And on the basis of liabilities, there are two kinds of companies, limited liabilities company and unlimited liabilities company. Limited liabilities company are also having two kinds. First, companies limited by shares. Second, companies limited by guarantee. So this is the end of our topic, which we had started yesterday through our YouTube shorts. If you want more videos like this, you can comment me so I can improve myself. If you want me to add something more, or if you want me to if you want to give any suggestion to me, you can give also so that I can improve myself. Thank you.